I don't know when last time it was when I did an update on the black shark, but he is a good size. I don't remember, but I believe he's well over a foot long right now. And I haven't actually picked up any of my fish in probably a year, so I don't actually know weight at the moment. The tilapia is about 35 centimeters. In inches, that is 14. Probably 13 and 3/4, but the black shark is slightly bigger. If I was to guess, he's probably 16 inches or 412 millimeters or 41. He's been, out of all the fish in the tank, he's probably one of the most aggressive, but he doesn't leave marks. My tank is designed in a way where all the fish I put in, they're normally thought about from the perspective of all fish of the tank, because some fish even out aggression, some fish don't. The tinfoil barbs are put in there to design in a way as they're always a group, and fish alone will always go to a group. There's only a few species in the world of mammals, land breathers, and water dwellers that can't function with other species of their own kind. Even crocodiles, they're aggressive to their own kind, but they do stay in packs. That's even the aggression. The tinfoil barbs always are together. They are that sort of social fish. So they go as a pack. So basically, anyone who wants to be aggressive to them, they basically even out. So the aggression normally stays within these fish, but their aggression has normally died down since the tinfoil barbs are there. There's no real need for them to be aggressive while there's a gang around. It's like two fake white gangsters walking into a gang of black people. Maybe they'll survive, maybe they'll die. But normally, the white people take over because I don't know, something about intelligence, probably them being cunts, but yeah. So the tinfoil barbs even out the aggression of other people. The aggressive fish in here so far is the keylot cichlid. Like most cichlids, they are pieces of shits. So he does not care. He has never targeted the tinfoil barbs or the goldfish, but he is a piece. He's pissy and pitty, and the black shark will go for both him and the goldfish. The goldfish, for some reason, they always just get in the way of something. But the black shark just does that because he must find it fun. The angelfish, he really only gets much contact from the tilapia, which the tilapia inherently in this tank has never been aggressive, which is odd because they are known to be one of the most aggressive fish or cichlids from South America. I can't remember if they're North America or South America. I'm quite sure there's two types of tilapias, but well, there's like 20, 30 species of tilapia. This one in particular is a Mazip. I can't even say it. Mosquito. I think it's mosquito tilapia. We have two species here in Australia that weren't originally from here in Australia. They were brought over. Actually, maybe now I'm thinking about it, there's probably three. But here in Queensland, there's two. The mosquito tilapia, which is the biggest here. They're also normally the easiest to catch because they multiply by the thousands. And the second one is the spotted tilapia. It only grows to about 20. This one normally can grow up to 2 feet, only really go up to a foot. But the spotted one go to about 9 inches, 7 inches at best. And they are slightly harder to find, but they also they multiply. Like all the tilapias, they multiply by the thousands. They are just awesome at keeping their eggs alive until they hatch, and the offspring can just, since there's so many of them, there's at least probably a good 1,000 that come out from one spawn. The chances of just 100 of them getting out is quite high, which is normally the case. So it's, if you're doing 100, probably 2 times a week, it's 2 times every 2 weeks. They multiply a lot. And this guy, he got to the size of this pearl cichlid in about 7 months. They do grow slower after the first year, but they grow up to about the size of a spotted tilapia full size in the year, which is why they're such a pest here. The mosquito tilapia in particular. It's fast growing, highly foodie. It loves food. It'll eat anything, including other eggs. Which most of our native fish here, they don't have much predators or much what are they called? Much fish that just eat anything. Some fish will stray away from eggs and find food or meat. Others from most of the world go for anything. So our native fish are always been danger over these types of fish. So far I think we have probably 10% of the world's fish, freshwater fish, as our natives. So we're not too good with the natives. We don't have a lot, but they can be beautiful fish. And one of my favorites is the Australian lungfish. Not by its look, it basically looks like a lungfish, which is basically, I know it's its own species of fish. It's its own category of fish. A lungfish breathes much differently, but it looks more like an eel most of the time. It's an eel, I would say, mixed with an axolotl. It's big, but it's not as long. It's such a cool fish to understand. I've known it a few times. I've seen it a few times. They've lived for millions of years without any change at all. And one of their most unique qualities is that they can survive in an aquarium. The oldest living fish in captivity has been an Australian lungfish, in particular, an Australian lungfish. There's 7 types of lungfish. Most are named after the country they're found. I think Australia has 2, actually. They're basically the same thing, but they are They're mostly called Australian lungfish. Australian lungfish have a unique adverse behavior, and they're relatively calm fish. Slow moving and just peaceful. And they end up living, I think they have been known to live up to 150 years. Most of the time they only live to 100, which for humans that doesn't seem like a lot. We live up to 100, but that's on our good days. Australian lungfish have been living up to 100 for millions of years, and 150, I think the oldest lungfish in captivity right now is 105 or 110. So imagine your great grandchildren will be inherently a fish. It's a unique species, and they have had many hard ships in Australia due to our azot. Oh, I don't know if you could see it because my tank is a bit green at the moment. I haven't done a water change yet. He had his whole mouth open going for the front of the pearl ciplet because the pearl ciplet was like eyeing him up. Yep. So the Australian lungfish, it's, what was I on about? We have some beautiful fish species, some unique fish species. The only reason why the lungfish became so close to extinction is because it took us about 20 years to figure out how to breed them in captivity. We've kept them in captivity since they were discovered, I think back in 1870 or the 1860s. So yes, there's been a bit of there's been a lot of try to breed them in captivity. We've kept them in captivity for over 100 years, but the problem is, it took so long for us to breed them in captivity that they just went to the point of so close to extinction. And even now, you need a good $10,000 license to breed them, and they can get upwards to 9,000 readily. 9,000 Australian dollars, which is about 5,000 American. Australia and its states, they enjoy profiting off this shit. Like it's bloody terrible. Companies pretty much rule Australia. Like, you have American governments, they are the American and the UK government, they do actually control a lot of this shit. But the Australian government does pretty much what the corporate companies say. Which yes, for a, what are we, we're a, what's the name, Democrat? Democracy, that's the name. For a democracy, that's not how it normally works, but yes, but they like to say we're the Commonwealth of Australia, but we're more or less the Commonwealth of the Wesfarmers. Anyone who doesn't know who the Wesfarmers is, you'll be surprised. It's a Australian and New Zealand company that basically rule Australia, and they're also around the world. So they own Bunnings and Home Depot, which Bunnings is basically the Australian version of Home Depot. In fact, a lot of the websites are based off the same code and the same layout, so it's quite funny. Yes, Wesfarmers owns a lot of the big American stores. It's incredible what they've done, and this is the problem. We have so much shit that is ran by this awful government that it just destroys the nature and the real history of our nation. Like, the Australian government has been shit for so long. Like, it wasn't until 2002 or 2003 is when Aborigines actually were given real respect in this country. Until up to that point, we mistreated them the government mistreated them, and they saw them as how most blacks were seen over the years, over the centuries. And it's horrible to know we as a culture who don't really have our own diverse culture, we rely on the freedom culture that we all have today in Australia as our culture. How you can have a black, a white, an Asian, everyone, women, children, people of any race and gender and belief, that they can live here without the fear of being prosecuted or hurt. And it's a beautiful, awesome nation to live in. The thing we have is we can make jokes about anyone we want. Like, you won't go into a Australian supermarket or shop and not have someone there who can say a racial joke, and he'll probably have 5 black friends and probably black employees. He pays more than the whites. We are an awesome nation. We are very unserious people. We just like to have a fun time. But the people here may be awesome, most of them, but the nation that runs it is the government that runs the nation profits off the mistreat and stuff. Australians do not do things like most people do around the world, from my English protests. We don't protest that much. The people who protest in Australia are Australians. Like, Australia does not have its own battle. We don't like to battle the government. As an Australian, you can get away with just talking to your mates about the mistreat and the diverse, awful culture that the government tries to pull and make. But we don't do anything about it. I mean, as a point of view from most Australians, the government does shit. It's all the companies that run it. So as long as the people can be nice, there's the small parts where the government comes in, like police forcing and other things that can do some horrible things to innocent people. It's just unfortunately how it runs here. We don't do anything about it. It's not Australian to protest or fight for the rights. And anyone who really does that, they do guerrilla tactics, like the wild colonial boy, Jack Dillon or Ned Kelly, famously. They just fought the government. They helped the people. And it's been like that here for the last century. And we just don't want to change it. Changing it means we have to reform our government, which is already a difficult thing to do. So, yes, Australia just has some awful policies, and we leave our beautiful, diverse culture and our animals to fend for themselves without human help. Though we were also the ones that cause the chaos within their own ecosystem. And it's normally overseers that have no bloody respect for this nation who do this shit, who throw goldfish into ponds, who breed goldfish purely to put them into a pond, who breed, oh god, even cichlid breeders. Here in Australia, cichlid breeders are not common, but the ones I've seen, they are fucking awful people. Like, just in Brisbane, like, you can't release fish, or you can't allow fish like that from different parts of the world to just be released into the ecosystem. It destroys it. It not only does it destroy it, it destroys the species you've released. Because evolution, obviously, some fish need to survive differently. Now, let's see. Is the sorry, I've the eel was in there. He's moved. Yeah, he moved that whole rock from there to there. I don't know how he did it. He just did it. We have, yeah, there's just some beautiful fish here that we just have not treated right. As a fish keeper, it's sad. I'm also a fish breeder. I've bred probably over 100 different species of fish. And it's always been respect on my end. I will not allow any fish to be harmed or shit. And if any fish come out with imperfections, is what I normally call it, because it's easier, and they have to basically fend for their lives for their very short life, I find it's easier to just remove them. It's not purely the fact that they won't sell if they have like a broken fin or a moved fin, a moved eye. It's simply the fact that they aren't going to live as happy as other fish. And maybe it's bad to decide on whether or not any life needs to be put away early. But if I had a choice between when I was born, if I knew what I would have, I probably would. If I had a choice to skip over these years of finding who I am and the shit I had to go through, I probably would choose death if I had to. If I could choose skip over it, I probably would still choose death. But unfortunately, I've already run through a lot of the hard shit, and there's still a lot to come, and I'm not prone to give up. It's hard to decide on whether or not a life needs to be forfeit. Technical term. Euthanized. But it's something that has to be done in nature. Even parents of most animals. Humans used to be like that. We used to have to decide on our children. But nowadays we don't. At least not if you're a shit parent. Is how they make it out to be. But yeah. I have to think, if your child comes out of the womb with no leads, and you realize how many bills you have to pay, you have to replace a wheelchair pretty much every year, which gets pricey. And then you have to go through years of training for a lot of this shit. It's something nowadays that back in time, we just choose to not go through the pain. But back then, it was actually easier. You didn't have governments or rules, really, within even a big town. It was free for all. And it was the way of the human society, which made people live happier and more content back there. They may have not lived longer, but that's because medicine, even though medicine's priced up on pretty much it's all a shithole, but it's still medicine that's been invented to help lives live longer, and it's all odd. Yeah, I need to build stuff, so probably turn off. Sorry about the video. I'll probably just list it as the black shark in the history of the Australian animals. And the black shark is not an animal from Australia. So, in other words, don't be a cunt. Be respectful to the ecosystem and the fish that live in it. And all animals. The black shark has been alright. The angelfish is actually quite good. I really only put him in there because he was outgrowing most of my tanks I had set up. He would have been happier in a bigger tank, so... And he's really enjoying it. He gets no real fight with any of these fish. They are normally aggressive fish, but these ones are so much more aggressive. Which is why I love angelfish, but I don't keep them. I go for big monster, more aggressive fish. If I had a choice, I probably would have went for a different fish than the tilapia. I probably would have went for a Mary cod or a barramundi. But unfortunately, I have the tilapia, so I can't. Have fun.